Top 6. Best low-sodium soups for people with weak kidneys. You're in the kitchen, holding a tin of soup, flipping it over to read the label. The sodium number stares back at you, and suddenly a simple meal feels complicated. Here's what most people with kidney concerns never get told. What you eat every day either helps your kidneys or quietly makes things harder. And soup can actually be one of the safest, most comforting choices you make, if you know which ones to pick. Today, we're covering the 6 best low-sodium soups that are gentle on weak kidneys, easy to find, and genuinely good to eat. So let's start with the first soup on the list, and this one is a genuinely good place to begin. Cauliflower soup. Now, if you've never thought of cauliflower as a kidney-friendly food, you're not alone. Most people walk past it without a second thought. But for anyone managing weak kidneys or trying to keep sodium low, cauliflower is one of the quieter heroes of kidney-safe eating. Here's why it works so well. Cauliflower is naturally low in potassium, low in phosphorus, and contains very little sodium on its own. Those 3 things matter because when kidneys are not working at full strength, they struggle to filter excess potassium and phosphorus properly. Over time, a buildup of either can put extra strain on kidneys that are already working hard. Cauliflower takes that pressure off without asking you to give up a warm, filling meal. When you make cauliflower soup at home, the ingredients stay simple. Cauliflower, a splash of olive oil, a small onion, low-sodium vegetable stock, and a little white pepper if you enjoy some warmth. That's genuinely all you need. No complicated steps, no long shopping list. The key thing to pay attention to is the stock. A lot of ready-made stocks, even ones that look healthy on the shelf, carry surprisingly high sodium levels. Choosing a low-sodium or no added salt stock makes a real difference here. It keeps the whole bowl working in your favor rather than against you. If cooking from scratch feels like too much on some days, there are ready-made cauliflower soups available in supermarkets. Just read the label carefully. Look for options with under 300 milligrams of sodium per serving, and check that the ingredient list is short and recognizable. Small choices like this, made regularly, are what gradually reduce the load on your kidneys over time. Before we go any further into this list, I want to pause for a second and ask you something directly. Are you watching this because someone you care about has been told their kidneys are struggling, or is this about your own health right now? Either way, you are in the right place. If you are here because you are trying to make safer food choices for your kidneys, and you want more of this kind of honest, practical guidance, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. We cover kidney health in a way that is straightforward and actually usable in real life, not just theory. And right now in the comments, tell me this. Have you ever stood in a supermarket aisle reading a food label and felt completely unsure whether it was safe for your kidneys? If that sounds familiar, type 1 in the comments. If you have never really thought about it before today, type 0 instead. I read every comment, and it helps me understand exactly what you need more of. And speaking of reducing load, the second soup on this list takes a slightly different approach, one that focuses just as much on flavor as it does on kidney safety. Variety is something people with kidney concerns often feel they have lost. So the second soup on this list is here to remind you that your weekly meals can still feel different, satisfying, and genuinely enjoyable. Carrot and coriander soup. This one is a staple in a lot of homes, and for good reason. It is warm, naturally sweet, and has a depth of flavor that feels far more indulgent than its ingredient list suggests. More importantly, it is one of the most kidney-friendly soups you can eat regularly. Carrots are low in phosphorus and contain a moderate, manageable level of potassium, making them a far safer choice than many vegetables people assume are healthy. When kidneys are under strain, it is the combination of high potassium and high phosphorus over time that causes the most difficulty. Carrots sit comfortably within a kidney-conscious diet without needing to be limited dramatically. Coriander, used as a seasoning rather than a base ingredient, adds flavor without adding sodium. That matters because one of the biggest traps people fall into is reaching for salt or heavily seasoned stock to make food taste better. Coriander gives this soup its character naturally, so you are not left feeling like something is missing. To make this at home, you need carrots, a small onion, low-sodium vegetable stock, ground coriander, and a little olive oil. It blends into a smooth, creamy texture without needing any cream at all. And that simplicity carries right into the next soup as well, though this one tends to surprise people when they first hear it suggested for kidney health. That surprise element is real, and this next soup is probably the best example of it on the entire list. Courgette soup. Known as zucchini in the US, this is a vegetable that most people either ignore completely or only ever think of as a side dish. Very few people consider it as the base of a soup, and even fewer know just how well it suits a kidney-conscious diet. Here is what makes it stand out. Courgette is exceptionally low in both potassium and phosphorus, two of the main minerals that weakened kidneys struggle to process. It also contains almost no natural sodium, which means from the very start, before you have even added a single ingredient, you are already working with something that places almost no burden on your kidneys at all. That is a rare quality in any food, and it is exactly why overlooking courgette is genuinely a missed opportunity for anyone watching their kidney health. The flavor is mild, which is something people sometimes read as a negative. But mildness in a soup base is actually an advantage because it gives you full control over taste without needing to rely on salt. A small amount of garlic, a drizzle of olive oil, low-sodium vegetable stock, and a handful of fresh herbs like chives or parsley are all it takes to turn courgette into a bowl that feels fresh, light, and satisfying. It blends beautifully into a smooth, velvety consistency that feels far more substantial than the ingredient list would suggest. And because courgette is available year-round in most supermarkets on both sides of the Atlantic, there is no waiting for the right season or hunting through specialist food shops. For anyone who has felt boxed in by kidney-friendly eating, this soup is a quiet reminder that the options are wider than they first appear. The next soup on the list takes that idea even further, focusing on something most people assume is completely off the table when kidneys are involved. Most kidney health content covers the same familiar ground. The same vegetables, the same suggestions, the same advice repeated in slightly different ways. This next soup barely gets a mention anywhere, and that is honestly difficult to understand once you see what it offers. Cabbage soup, not the fad diet version you may have heard of years ago, just a simple, properly made cabbage soup that deserves far more attention than it receives in kidney health conversations. Cabbage is one of the lowest potassium vegetables you can eat. It is also low in phosphorus, low in natural sodium, and incredibly easy to prepare. For someone whose kidneys are not filtering as well as they once did, that combination is genuinely hard to find in a single ingredient. Most vegetables bring at least one of those numbers higher than ideal. Cabbage keeps all three in a safe range at the same time. Beyond the numbers, cabbage has a natural anti-inflammatory quality. Kidneys that are already under pressure do not need the added challenge of ongoing inflammation in the body, and regularly eating foods that help calm that response is one of the quieter ways people support their kidney health without realizing it. To make this soup well, you need a small head of cabbage, a couple of carrots, a stick of celery, low-sodium vegetable stock, and a little olive oil with black pepper. Nothing unusual, nothing expensive. Everything on that list can be picked up during a regular weekly shop without any extra effort. The result is a light but filling bowl that works just as well for lunch as it does for an evening meal. It stores well in the fridge for a couple of days, too, which makes it a practical choice for anyone who prefers to cook in batches rather than every single day. Cabbage soup is the kind of option that quietly does its job without drawing attention to itself. And sometimes, the quietest choices are the ones that make the biggest difference. There is one more soup coming up that speaks directly to something a lot of people with kidney concerns feel on a daily basis, and it is worth staying for. If anything in this video has shifted the way you think about food and your kidneys, even just slightly, please take 1 second to hit the like button before you leave. That single tap does something most people do not realize. It tells the platform that this information is worth sharing, and it puts this video in front of someone else who is quietly struggling with kidney concerns right now. Someone who may have been told to cut sodium but has no idea where to start. Someone who has given up on food they enjoy because they think kidney health means eating without pleasure. Your like is what gets this to them. It costs you nothing, and it could genuinely change how they manage their health from this point forward. That feeling of missing out on food you actually enjoy is something a lot of people with kidney concerns carry around quietly. The sense that eating well now means eating without pleasure. This next soup exists to challenge that idea directly. Leek and potato soup. This is a classic for a reason. It is creamy, deeply savory, and satisfying in a way that does not feel like a compromise, and when it is made with the right approach, it sits comfortably within a kidney-friendly diet without sacrificing any of what makes it worth eating in the first place. Leeks are gentle on the kidneys. They are low in phosphorus and carry a natural sweetness that adds real depth to a soup without needing anything artificial to back it up. Potatoes, when prepared correctly, are also manageable for most people with reduced kidney function. The key preparation step is peeling and dicing the potatoes, then soaking them in water for a couple of hours before cooking. This simple process, known as leaching, draws out a significant amount of potassium from the potato before it ever reaches your bowl. It is a small step that makes a meaningful difference. For seasoning, this is where a lot of home cooks reach for salt without thinking. With leek and potato soup, you genuinely do not need it. A bay leaf added during cooking, a little white pepper, and a small amount of fresh chives stirred in at the end bring the flavor forward without touching the sodium level at all. If you use an unsalted or low-sodium stock as the base, what you end up with is a bowl that tastes rich, feels comforting, and does not work against the kidneys in any way. That is not deprivation. That is just cooking with a little more awareness than before. Enjoyment and kidney health are not pulling in opposite directions. This soup is proof of that every single time you make it. And the final soup on this list brings everything together in a way that feels like a natural finish to everything covered so far. Every soup on this list has brought something specific to the table: low potassium, gentle ingredients, natural flavor, practical preparation. This final one does not just add to that list. It quietly brings all of those qualities together in a single bowl. Cucumber and dill soup. This one often catches people off guard, and that reaction is understandable. Cucumber as a soup is not something most people grow up eating, but once you understand what it offers, it becomes one of the most logical choices on this entire list for anyone looking after their kidneys. Cucumber is made up almost entirely of water. That high water content makes it one of the most naturally hydrating foods available, and hydration plays a bigger role in kidney health than most people realize. Kidneys need a steady, consistent flow of fluid to do their job properly. When the body stays well hydrated through both drinking and eating, the kidneys can filter and flush more efficiently without being pushed to work harder than they need to. Beyond hydration, cucumber is extremely low in potassium, very low in phosphorus, and contains almost no natural sodium. It is also gentle on the digestive system, which matters because when kidneys are under strain, the rest of the body often feels the knock-on effect, too. Dill, used as the herb base for this soup, has a quiet anti-inflammatory quality that complements the cucumber well. It adds a fresh, distinctive flavor without any salt needed and without overpowering the lightness of the soup itself. This soup can be served chilled during warmer months or gently warmed when the weather calls for something more comforting. Either way, the nutritional profile stays exactly the same. which makes it one of the most flexible options on the list. It is light, clean, and genuinely kind to the kidneys in every possible way. A fitting end to a list that has tried to show, from the very first soup to this one, that protecting your kidneys through food does not have to feel like a burden. That idea, small and repeated choices, adding up to something meaningful, is exactly what ties this entire video together. There is something worth saying before this video ends, and it has nothing to do with any specific soup. What you just watched required patience. Learning about your kidneys, paying attention to what goes into your food, and genuinely trying to make better choices is not something everyone bothers to do. The fact that you are here, watching this to the end, already puts you ahead of where most people are with their own health. That matters. The 6 soups covered in this video were not chosen randomly. Each one was picked because it brings something real to the table for kidneys that need a little extra care. Some keep potassium low, some reduce the phosphorus load, some hydrate the body from the inside out, some prove that flavor does not have to disappear just because sodium does. Together, they cover a wide range of tastes, textures, and occasions so that kidney-friendly eating never has to feel like you are working from a list of things you cannot have. You do not need to make all 6 part of your routine straight away. Start with 1. The cauliflower soup if simplicity appeals to you. The leek and potato if you want something that feels warming and familiar. The cucumber and dill if you are ready to try something a little different. Wherever you begin, you are moving in the right direction. Kidney health is not built in a single week. It is built through small, repeated decisions that gradually reduce the pressure your kidneys carry every day. A bowl of soup seems like a small thing, but small things done consistently are what actually change outcomes over time. If this video gave you something useful, something you will carry into your next trip to the kitchen or your next supermarket visit, then it has done its job. If someone in your life is dealing with kidney problems, whether they have just received a difficult diagnosis or they are simply trying to protect their kidneys before things get worse, please share this video with them today. Not tomorrow. Today. A lot of people going through kidney concerns feel isolated with it. They do not know what to eat, they are afraid of getting it wrong, and they often do not have access to clear, honest information that actually helps. You sharing this takes about 3 seconds, and it could give someone you love the clarity and confidence they have been looking for. That is a meaningful thing to do for another person. Share it with them now. Leave a comment below letting us know which soup you are going to try first. It genuinely helps to hear from you, and it helps others watching feel less alone in managing their kidney health. If you found this helpful, a like goes a long way, and subscribing means you will not miss what comes next. Take care of yourself. Your kidneys are worth it.